right. What's going on, y'all? This is Jay Nolan from the Fresh and Local team. Welcome to the Songwriter Social Club. As you can see on the screen, the Songwriter Social Club is we're presenting to you practical ways to monetize your music if you're an artist, songwriter, producer, creator of any type in the music community. This is the place to be right now. So gonna try to give everybody a couple of minutes to get into the space to actually watch it and everything. But yeah, man, we got a great lineup today. We're gonna be talking about the world of music publishing, how to go about publishing your own music, some of the protections that you have in your favor, and some of the ways that you can monetize and receive royalties on all of the work that you do. All right, so you definitely want to stay tuned. And hold on, I think somebody is in here, but hold on. All right, I'm just gonna keep it rolling. So stay tuned, and yeah. So let me send this link out real quick just to make sure people are able to watch on all platforms, and we will move forward. Bear with me for a moment, people. We're gonna keep it moving, but I just wanna make sure I get this link up on all platforms. All right. So, for those of y'all that do not know me, all right, my name is Jay Nolan. Uh, I'm a hip hop artist based in Atlanta. I've been doing music for a long time now, man, and I've always had the heart of spreading knowledge and information. Even when I didn't necessarily have it, I always wanted to know more about what was going on in music and why things worked the way that they did. For me specifically, coming up in Atlanta, being a lyricist, being a, I guess you could say, hip hop purist, um, I didn't necessarily fit the bill for a lot of local based avenues, shows, festivals. Um, so what I ended up doing was getting with a bunch of my friends. So shout out to Rex Navi, Greg Lowe, um, Just Thoughts, Keith Turner, Gumbo Soul Music. We all formed um, this whole fresh and local thing, and basically we got together and was like, if nobody's gonna be, and not to say nobody was helping us or looking out, but just figuratively saying that if nobody's gonna contribute to what it is that we're doing on a major scale, then we should be figuring it out for ourselves. And that meant putting on shows in the city, looking out for like-minded artists that were going through the same type of experiences. Excuse me, and forming alliances with them, opening opportunities for those same people, collaborating, and just creating an ecosystem that was a little bit more artist friendly for people that may not have been experiencing that. So I released my first project that I care to talk about in 2010. It's called Broken Dreams, and it opened a lot of doors for me. It created a lot of relationships with producers and people in the I guess you could say blog era of music, and that kind of put me on to start collaborating with artists that were in bigger positions, bigger platforms than myself, and over time, it basically became apparent to me that music is one of those places where you can be extremely popular. You could be look like you have the world in your palms, but it may not translate financially. So, in 2013, I connected with a producer who actually introduced me to the world of music licensing, and I got to see what that industry was like and what that was like financially, which was a lot more lucrative than being involved in just releasing music, which we're going to talk about releasing music as well, because there was a lot that I didn't know at that time. But it took a lot of pressure and allowed me to feel creative and not be worried about if I'm gonna eat tonight. You know what I'm saying? So moving forward from there, I started formulating relationships with other companies that do the same thing. One of which are gonna be in the live today. We're gonna have Ty Frankel from Shutdown Media, and he'll talk all about that. I don't want to, step on his toes, but I just want to give you guys an introduction to who I am because I am the host and moderator for today, and I think it's important. Um, but yeah, moving past just myself, some things that I really want you guys to know about, especially if you're releasing music in your own accord, is what music publishing is. Okay, this is some stuff that people in the industry that are walking around. There's artists that are on TV that don't know this information. So definitely, if you have a notepad, if you have a notes app on your phone, I would really advise you guys to kind of open those up. So yeah, introduction to music publishing. In the music business, a music publisher or a publishing company is responsible for ensuring songwriters and composers receive payment when their compositions are used commercially. All right. So in most cases, for mainstream music or stuff that's mass produced, a songwriter or composer assigns the copyright of their composition to a publishing company. That's how it generally works in the standard record business. In return, the company licenses those compositions, helps monitor where those compositions are used, and they collect the royalties and distribute them to the composers. Now, what is a composer, right? A composer is somebody who either writes or creates the composition, as in the music, right? So if you and your friend write a song together, both of you are composers. If you have a producer in the room that also contributes to the composition, which is the music that you are creating, or at least the composition that creates the music that you're creating, you all fall into songwriter and or composer. All right, and the same situation goes for when you get your music in film, TV, etc., right? So they also secure commissions for music and promote existing compositions to recording artists, film, and television. Like I just said, the copyrights owned and administered by these publishing companies are one of the most important forms of intellectual property in the music industry. All right. The other is the copyright on a master recording. So when you hear people talk about I own my masters, or I was in a bad deal, I didn't have access to my masters, I tried to buy them back, they wanted $6 million. That's what people are talking about, the master, but we're not there yet. All right. So, like I said, one of the most important forms of intellectual property in the music industry. The other is the copyright on a master recording. So, publishing companies play a great role in managing this vital asset. If you've written a song and haven't signed away the rights to somebody else, then you guessed it, you are also the publisher. So you are the composer and you are also the publisher, which means that all those royalties can come back to you if you know where to register that content, you know what I'm saying, and collect it to yourself. It'll be paid back to you. So now, you in the music business, your content is composed of two copyrights. We just talked about them, all right? And that's the master recording and the composition. The composition is the song, not the recording of the song, just the song. I know it sounds crazy, but like I said, the publisher owns the composition and collects royalties. Songwriters write the composition. The masters are the actual recorded version of your song, also called the master track, sound recording, right? So generally, record labels would own that sound recording and collect royalties from them. See what I'm saying? Artists create the sound recording and are subsequently paid from those royalties. All right? So got two copyrights. You have your sound recording and you have your composition. You get paid for both of those if you are both the composer and the publisher, right? If you're not, then somebody's going to be administering that money to you down the pipeline. But that's just like the simplest way to like break it down for anybody that's tuned in, because if you start going to like seminars or if you start dealing with people that work in the music business and they start giving you paperwork with these terms on it, you want to know what these things mean, because if you just start signing away those rights, people gonna take advantage of you for years, bro. Like, and that's kind of like how people in the music business have been getting over for such a long time, is because artists don't come in knowing these types of things. A lot of us don't come in here with music industry books on our shelves. And even if we do have them, how many of us are taking the time to open them up? We have so much information available to us online that we don't take advantage of, or just don't know where to find it because we don't even know what to put in a Google search to know what it is. Um, but yeah, let me get off my high horse on that. Um, so you have, I hope everybody's clear on the master recording and the composition. Now, the ways to actually collect money in the music business and receive the royalties that you are owed. One of the first things that you'll want to do is sign up with a performance rights organization, aka a PRO. I'm sure everyone in here has at least heard of what a PRO is, even if you don't understand what they do or how they are beneficial. I'm sure everybody's heard of BMI, ASCAP, CSAC, and then there's also Global Music Rights, right? Different countries have different performance rights organizations. So, I don't know where everybody is located that's tuned in today, but make sure that you look them up according to where you're located. But these organizations represent songwriters and composers, not artists. So if you are strictly a songwriter, you will go to performance right organization. If you are an artist that writes your own music, you would also have it registered through a PRO. Now, if you're just an artist that performs songs written for you, this is where you kind of get cut out the deal. And this is where a lot of people in the industry that, you know, they just perform, they're not receiving royalties on this stuff, or they're negotiating terms that, of course, make it beneficial to them as the performer. But just on a cut and dry scale, that's not how it works. All right. I don't want to get too caught up in the semantics of everything. I'm gonna be giving you guys some information and ways to like look this stuff up for yourselves. But I'm just gonna keep pressing forward with what this is. I don't want to like get too much of my own opinion involved. So your PRO is going to go out there and collect money from radio stations, streaming services, TV stations, department stores, bars, live venues, and other places that have blanket licenses for permission to play music in their establishments. That money is then split between the songwriters and the publishers on a 50-50 scale. All right. So I know on BMI, you kind of have a default publisher that you can like um, register as a songwriter and still receive your publishing money. ASCAP, you will have to start your own publishing company through them. Well, you don't have to do it through them, but you have to have a publishing company, period, in order to receive the publisher share of your music. So definitely make sure that you're looking into that as well when you're signing up on your PRO that you want to be with. And those are called performance royalties. Of course, you can only sign up for one PRO, so be sure to research which company is most appealing to you, because if you don't like it with them, you can't just go around and jump from one place to the next and have both places representing the same catalog of music. All right. Um, so, like I said, requires you signing up for ASCAP requires you to set up your own publishing company in order to receive all your money. Um, with BMI, you're not required to do that. You will still receive 100% of your royalties. You would just have to put them on a 200% scale. Sounds crazy. What is 200%? But just know that's how it works. Then you have your admin publishing companies such as Songtrust, CD Baby Pro, and TuneCore. I'm sure you guys have heard of these places as well if you're involved in the independent music scene. Um, they will also collect publishing money from a PRO, but they take a 15 to 20% commission. You know what I'm saying? Really doesn't make any sense to give up a 15-20% commission when these are things that you can do for yourself. But if you're somebody that doesn't want to do all of that, that's on you. I can't determine what's right or wrong for you to give up percentage wise. I can only give you the information. Um, but of course, they do admin for you, so you know That's something you won't have to do. You won't have to worry about it. They'll take care of that in the back door, and you could just focus on being creative. You know what I mean? So I guess there is a trade off for that, but you got to figure it out for yourself. Another thing for the artists in here that you know, perform, performance rights agencies, excuse me, organizations now collect royalties on live performances as well. This is something that I talk to a lot of people about because I think that this just went into effect a few years ago. This is not something that's been a thing in the music industry for a long time. But now when you perform at venues, let's say you go to a open mic or you go to, you know what I'm saying, a promoter hits you up and they're like, yo, you're dope. Perform at my show. But they don't come to you with any sort of payment up front, you know, or agreement to say, hey, when you show up and sell X amount of tickets, you'll be paid X amount of money. There is a way to turn your free shows into paid shows, and that's through your performance rights organization. All right. You can do that through BMI Live. You could do that through ASCAP on stage, and you could do that through CSAC's live performance notification portal. So once again, it doesn't matter which organization you go with. You just want to know how to do this because it's going to be important. Right now, we can't do a lot of shows due to COVID, so a lot of people may not be worried about that. But it's very vital information to know long term because if you're doing shows and you know, let's face it, a lot of independent artists, upcoming artists, are not being paid for shows. I know I've been through the ringer with that. You know, I've just within the last couple of years really started being compensated for my shows. But up to that point, guess what I was doing? I was logging in all my performances on BMI Live and collecting royalties every quarter, 4 times a year, off of those performances, depending on what quarter the performances took place in. Um, so yeah, man, and these the payouts are contingent upon, of course, you know how long your set is, the crowd size, the ticket info to secure payment for the live performance royalties, and of course, like I said before, these come from anytime you perform your original music in a club, theater, arena, etc. As long as the venue is compliant in paying out performance royalties. All right, and it won't be like no crazy. You won't break the bank with it, but it'll come in. It's something that will add up, you know what I mean, over time. And at the very least, if somebody's trying to pay you an exposure, you can at least put some uh, gas in your tank and, you know, maybe get a cheeseburger or something on your way out there. But you ain't performing for $0, 0 cents, and perhaps zero people, depending on who hit you up. Moving on to the next thing. You have your interactive streaming revenue, all right? And this is collected by your distributor most times. So in a lot of cases, I know independent artists these days are releasing music through DistroKid, or any other variation of distribution companies similar to a DistroKid. This is where the money from that comes in. That's interactive streaming revenue, which comes from your DSP such as Spotify, Apple Music, or Tidal. And your DSPs pay out 70% of all revenue generated from your music on their platforms, which is then split between the artist and label as well as songwriter royalties, mechanical, and performance. So one thing that I want to point out, any distributor that tells you, hold on, let me see. Got a question before I move forward. Can you register old shows that were unpaid? You can, but you can't go back too far. So like, say you did a show, you know, before COVID hit, you might be able to still receive royalties on that. You'll have to go in there and try to put the date in. Like if you can't, like when you go into the portal, you can like select the date that the show took place, but there's a certain threshold that you can't go past. Like in the past, it'll show you like all the dates will be grayed out. You can't click on them, but there is a way to be paid for those older shows. It's just a certain threshold you can't go past. I appreciate Hickman LA that's in here dropping questions. If you guys have any questions as I'm going, please put them in the comments. I'm able to see all comments from YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. All comments come directly to me. So if you have any questions along the way, if something is foggy, don't hesitate to ask me. I have about 10 more minutes of this spiel before I bring my first guest on to talk about something different. But I just want to go over the ways that you get paid as an artist, because these are very important pieces of information that, you know, some of you guys probably did not know. All right, so let me continue. Yeah, like I said, they give you 70%. So if anybody's telling you, like I know United Masters is telling people that they can be paid 100%. You know what I mean? If you pay them, what is it, $5 a month or $10 a month, whatever it is that they're doing right now, it's a lie. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you're gonna get 100% of whatever's left after they take their 30. But anybody promoting 100% of royalties is lying to you. I just want y'all to know that up front, just so that you know that. They pay out 70%. But yeah, this money is generated, like I said, from your DSPs, your Spotify's, your Apple Music's, your titles. And of course, they'll come out whenever your specific distributor does their payouts, which is normally every 30 days or so, but some go 60 days, some go 90. It just depends on where you're at. On-demand downloads and physical sales are paid by the master's owner, which will be the label. But if you're doing all of this yourself, you assume all of these roles as the label as well. There is a middleman that also collects these royalties called the Harry Fox Agency. Many of us are not going to have access to the Harry Fox Agency. It's like an invite only type of situation, so you're not really going to get that from them. Your best bet is to get it from your distributor. Then we go into download sales from iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, etc. Once again, you're going to get that money from your distributor. Not sure if you guys know or do not, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Today, streaming is being pushed as the standard. And under new revisions, 1,500 on-demand streams is now equivalent to 10 download sales, which is ultimately the equivalent of one album. All right? Now, let me just break that down, because I know that's a lot of numbers in one statement. So I'm going to say it one more time. 1,500 on-demand streams. So if you put out an album and you get 1,500 streams on Spotify or whatever, that is equivalent to 10 download sales, which equals one album sale. So that's like the equivalent of 10 people buying a track from you. You know what I'm saying? It's garbage. So in order to make up for that, I would encourage you guys to tell people to buy your music, man. I know it's a large argument out there talking about whether or not you should go with streaming, or if CDs are, you know, no longer valuable. But if you're an artist and you want to do that, man, I definitely encourage it. Sell your music through your own website too. Like, you don't have to give these larger companies a cut of anything. You don't have to give nobody that 30%. For real. You could sign up on Squarespace. You could sign up on Bandzoogle. You could sign up on all of these different places and sell digital products. You could sell a whole album through your own website, bro. You could set it up to where people can listen to it and everything the same way that you would on Spotify. You don't have to give up that money, bro. Like, that's what I'm currently working on myself. So you guys will see that in oncoming projects for those that are tuned in and know who Jay Nolan is. If not, it's cool too. But yeah, do with that information what you will, man. But you don't have to give that up. But yeah, man, 50. Because, like, let's be real. How many independent artists do you know that just have 1,500 people on hand that are gonna go on Spotify and play your music like at the snap of a finger? You know what I mean? And to make it even worse, like, if you get 1 million plays, I think that's the equivalent of like $600 in your account. 1 million plays now, so you could be, you know what I mean, looking like you on top of the world. You on Instagram like, oh, we just hit 1 milli, bro. And then your account say $600. You know what I'm saying? Don't make no sense to me. But if you're somebody that's putting out, uh, 12 million I mean, 12 million play videos a year, of course, that's something that's dope. It's a great support for what you're doing, but it really isn't as beneficial as it seems. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors in this game, which is why we're doing stuff like Songwriter Social Club. Because if you don't know, they're gonna keep getting over on you. Um, I'm gonna skip that. Another royalty collection agency that you need to know about is Sound Exchange. I'm not sure if you guys have or have not heard about Sound Exchange, but they represent artists and labels. So before, when I talked about the PROs, I told you that it was for songwriters and composers. Artists got cut out of that deal. If you're an artist that does not write your own music, you can collect through Sound Exchange. All right. And like I said, they represent artists and labels, collect performance royalties for non interactive digital sound recordings. Now, what is non interactive? They got all these terms out here just to trip you up. Non interactive is a platform in which you cannot choose the song you're listening to, such as Sirius XM, Beats One Radio, or like a Pandora. If you're not using the paid subscription to Pandora, you can't really choose what they play. That's non-interactive, right? And they pay out 50% to sound recording owners, which goes to 45% to the artist and 5% to session musicians or non-featured artists. Now, the funny thing about this part is that 5% is always going to be withheld from you. So even if you don't have session musicians or non-featured artists on your track, you still not gonna get that 5%. It's crazy. I don't understand why they do that. I think it's a joke, but that's where we at in the game. You know what I mean? Um, Moving right along. The world of licensing, and we're gonna talk about this later with the guest. But that's for TV shows, movies, commercials, trailers, video games, etc. They will require a master use license. So if you control the master of your music, uh, you have the right to allow these different platforms to utilize your music, of course, and that would require a sync license from the songwriter publisher for the use of the composition. Licensing payments are based on the budget of the TV studio or production company that you're dealing with. When dealing with them directly, keep in mind that you are acting as both the label and the publisher. If you are the person, if you're putting out music on your own, you assume both of those roles. In most cases, you'll be working with a third-party licensing company that has connections to music supervisors to represent the music. And you'll generally, not to say all, it's open for negotiation, but a lot of times they will split 50-50 any incurring money that comes from those licenses. And they will also, a lot of cases, they end up taking the publisher's share from that transaction. So just so you know in advance, a lot of times when you go and do business with a licensing company, you will retain your ownership as a composer, songwriter, but they will now re-register the song with them as the publisher because that's how they get their money. All right. But of course, that percentage is open for negotiation with any company that you work with. I personally work with a company that does a 60-40 split, but like I said, you gotta figure it out on your own. Now, the ballpark of what you can expect to make in this market as an independent artist is typically anywhere between $250 on the low end, and you can get up to maybe 10,000, 50,000. You know what I'm saying? But depending on, like I said before, the budget of the company and the production that is being licensed to. And your PRO will collect the performance royalties based on the usage of the composition, and those monies are distributed quarterly. So that's 4 times a year. Just a solid example would be like if you got your music on Sports Center or whatever, you would likely, I can't say that you're guaranteed to get, but you would likely get an upfront sync fee of whatever they like to pay, and then you would get quarterly payouts starting generally the next year. You would get paid 4 times a year, and if you happen to get if that show comes on repeatedly, like reruns and stuff like that, um, you'll get paid off for that as well. In my personal experience, I got a song on UFC a few years ago, UFC pay per view, and I got paid off of that one placement for like probably 5 years. Um, of course, in the beginning, the money was a little bit better, but over time, it still adds up because one placement can keep paying out. All right, I gotta keep it moving because our first guest is actually in the building now. So let me make sure that I've covered my tracks for the most part, and then we'll get into our first guest. Um, Micro licensing, that's something you guys might be interested in. That is licensing to smaller companies. And that's actually something that I've been doing over the course of the last year. For people that follow me on social media, you might have seen me make an announcement that I've made over $10,000 in the past year, writing songs for people and small businesses and smaller companies. That's how I did it. But I'll get into all of that later. But there are companies out there that you can work with to do smaller licensing, such as Music Bed, Songwriter, Audio Socket, um, and yeah, you could look those up, and you can expect to get anywhere between like $10 to maybe like $1,500 on the high end from these smaller micro licenses. Um, Last thing I want to touch on is mechanical royalties. I spoke on this before as far as CDs. Um, Mechanical royalties are due every time a copyrighted composition is reproduced or distributed in either physical or digital form. So basically, when the music industry came to be and we started putting out 8 tracks, vinyl recordings, CDs, tapes, you know what I'm saying? Those were mechanicals, all right, because they were mechanically produced. Today, like I mentioned before, everything is going into this digital streaming situation, um, but it's just not as profitable. You know what I mean? So mechanical royalties are from anything that you mechanically produce your music on and sell it to a consumer. Um, and I like to always bring up Nipsey Hussle the Great. A few years ago, he put out $100 mixtape. You know what I'm saying? And he sold 1,000 copies of that mixtape. And this is during a time when people were saying CDs are dead, but he got 1,000 people to pay $100 for it. Now, I'm not saying everybody's gonna spend that on you, but just keep in mind that if you just go with anything that the music industry or that your manager or some guy in a suit at Spotify tells you or something, you're gonna be running amok, man. You're gonna look up and be like, I've been doing music for 12 years and ain't made a dollar. You know what I mean? So keep these types of things in mind. I just wanted to say that, and we're gonna move right along to my first guest, my guy Ray Moore. All right. Now, for y'all that don't know who Ray Moore is, it's all good. I got you covered. Ray Moore is a recording music engineer. He's worked with people such as Mike Will Made It, Ray Srimmer, Migos, etc. But he's actually a dear friend to me, which is why I have access to him. All right. Um, I actually began doing music, period, with this guy. You know what I'm saying? I was in high school, probably like 14, 15 years old, and I didn't know how to record. So he brought a tape recorder to school, said, man, try this out. Maybe like 4 months later, he was like, hey, bro, I'm finna buy a mic and put it in my closet. So we started working, you know what I mean, back then. At the time, he still wanted to rap and produce, but he was taking the initiative to like get the equipment, and he was so advanced that, you know what I mean, we started calling him the engineer, even though he didn't really, we none of us knew what engineering was, right? But since that time, all of us have gone on to elevate in our careers and do some pretty cool things. And without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and bring him into the session. All right.
Yeah, what up, what up? Thank you for that introduction, man.
Yes,
Thank you.
sir.
So, yeah, man, since high school, we've been always focused on music. And as time went by, we networked with a lot of individuals, um, worked with a lot of, icons out there that a lot of people look up to. And it's
Right.
just funny because, focus behind the scene because that's really where my interest is. A lot of people want to be seen for the
Right.
aspect of, I guess fame and fortune. And, it's cool to an extent, but of course, overall, make sure your paperwork's right and you have someone who understands those jargon when it comes to contracts, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So,
So, yeah, man. First thing I want to do, you jump right into it. You know what I mean?
oh
But
yeah, of course.
outside of the little story that I told, you know what I'm saying, there is more to the story
Yeah.
of you. So like tell the people like how you came to be the man that you are today as far as the recording and music mixing engineer. What were some of your early introductions to being in studio, and how did you get to the place where you are now, where you're working with these established artists that people see out and might be in awe of?
So right after high school, of course, around high school, you and I was working. The microphone was in the closet, and from there, it just elevated. Right after high school, I went to SAE Institute. That's a school for audio engineering.
Yes, sir.
That's where I met one of my partners, YL of Rebel Ears. Got a website, rebelears.com. But around that time, I was going to all the seminars at SAE. I was looking at different studios to intern at. When I started interning at Castle Hill Studios, I started learning how to use the equipment, the outboard gear, different microphones, and it was opportunities for like seeing how to organize a session, booking sessions, what it takes for like one artist to go into a session, get ready for the next artist, and then from there, from going to SAE, one of the seminars, my mentor Steve Hibicki was there, and he was just giving an insight on. I think it
Yes, sir.
was a track with Lil Wayne and Drake that Mike Will produced, and he was just talking
Okay.
behind the scenes. And I already had the mindset I wanted to work with him. And interning at Castle Hill Studios, he goes there one night because he knows the owners, and I just randomly had a conversation with him, asking him, is there anything he needed? He told me he needed a assistant engineer right on the spot. Told him I was interested. The first track he sent me was Ray Shremmer's "By Chance." He wanted me to do some, I think some um, printing the stems, basically like the effects, having it on the
Okay.
stem. So like if they go to a radio station, if they don't have the specific plugins from the session, they don't have to worry about it. So it was like a step for him to see if he trusts me, if I knew what I was doing. And from there, he
Right.
started, bringing me around the studios. I met Mike Will a few times. I remember one night we was at the studio. Steve was working on Ray Shrimmer, and that was the night that Mike Will won his Grammy for "Humble" off of Kendrick Lamar's "Damn" album.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Dope. 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 That's what's up, man. One of my favorite Kendrick Lamar songs, but he got so many crazy ones. Um,
yeah,
so yeah, man. Being that this is the Songwriter Social Club, we definitely probably have a lot of artists and producers and music creators that are tuned in that want to know some
yeah.
information. So, from your perspective, bro, working in the studio with artists, what would you say are some of the biggest areas that artists can improve in as far as working in the studio?
I think before you go to the studio, make sure like get in touch with your engineer and see what time they're going to get at the studio. If you book a session, of course, in my opinion, you should be there 10 to 15 minutes early. The reason why the artist can go ahead and get in touch with the engineer, like, okay, this is the session we're working on the song. If they got the track out, so the 2 track, go ahead and email it to the engineer instead of walking into the session that you're paying for and you're not even ready. You should be ready before you get there. So I know it's something small, but you'd be
Right.
surprised the artists get there spending 30 minutes trying to find the song that the producer didn't send to
Right.
them. So they trying to get in touch with them, texting, he's not answering. You wasted a whole hour, so that's money out of your pocket before the session even started.
For sure.
Yeah,
So
but
first, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, and there's actually one more thing. Like this
Yes.
is outside of the box. This is for all artists, producers, and engineers. If you work in a session, no matter where you go, make sure you have an external hard drive so you have all your sessions with you. You'd be
Okay.
surprised how many people will take advantage. Like, okay, you pay to record there, and then some people I actually see that they'll try to charge you to get your session.
Right.
So, wherever you
Wow.
go,
Yeah.
make sure you have your hard drive, make sure you have all your material so no one can
Yeah.
take advantage of you.
Yeah. Great insight, man. Cause yeah, I've definitely heard some. I've heard some craziness, man. About
Yeah.
I know I've heard songs of mine where we made a mistake and like left a track like on the studio hard drive,
Yeah.
and next
Yeah.
thing you know, like it's another artist on that beat, bro. Like,
Yeah,
like
it
straight
happens all
up.
the time. I remember one of my clients in the past, he had this TLC sample that was like he paid for the clearance.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about it was left on the session hard drive. And the next day they went to the session. It was a random guy who recorded. They don't know who it was because it
Yeah.
wasn't in the book. So, things like that happen. Anytime you leave a session, make sure you keep your session and you delete the session from, wherever you recorded at if you had a different studio.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah, man. So I know that you've also been, you mentioned some of the people that you've been in the studio with.
Yeah.
I'm sure, like you mentioned, the night that Mike Will won his Grammy. I'm sure you've also witnessed how some of these people take their records from 0 to 100. You know what I'm saying? From the
Yeah.
creation all the way to the TV screen. So,
Hmm.
based on your experiences, what would you say are some of the ways that an independent artist should consider pushing their music, and what are some of the practices that you've personally seen?
Okay, well, when it comes to the music, of course, you got to be talented. When it comes to the business side, that's the big thing. A lot of people feeling like they can do it by themselves. Okay, a quick tip for someone who like deal with social media. If you can get 10 people who believes in you, right? And y'all organize a time. Let's say, okay, Wednesday at 3 o'clock. Okay, I'm releasing this song at 3 o'clock. If all 10 of y'all can use these specific hashtags and either share it, put it on your stories, whatever, to help promote it, right? And then from there, um, you get people involved that way. Something as small as that. Start DMing people who either heard your music, comment you, like your picture. It's all about you know, communication. So the more people you get involved with, like listen to my song, or even back and forth. Like artists feel like they don't really have to connect with people on social media, which is not true. For you
Right.
to gain that connection with a fan, you got to DM them like, oh, I saw your picture. You're an artist, I see, or you're a guitar player. My next
Mm-hmm.
project, I might need someone who played guitar. I like what you did. Start liking, commenting other people's pages and interact that way, just so you can build leverage when you blow up. People can be like, oh yeah, I remember he DM'd me, man. Of course, I'm gonna support him. It's about supporting each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I think that's a very good suggestion, because if you calls to action, man, we talk about this all the time. You know what I mean? With like the whole marketing situation, man, calls to
Yeah.
action. If you could put something out there and people actually latch onto it and actually follow your directive, you know that you got something. And the people that actually do that are the ones that you need
Yeah.
to be connecting with and really doubling down on that relationship. Um, because you like in the marketing world, you have your cold, you have your warm relationships, and then of course you got your
Yeah.
hot relationships, which are the people that that you can reach out to and are receptive. But those cold ones, if you could just put a cold call out there, man, and people
Yeah.
actually gravitate to it, it's like, oh man, I got something. So
Yeah.
definitely a great suggestion. One of the last things I want to ask you, bro, is that
Hmm.
a lot of indie artists, we feel
Hmm.
like we feel like we're great. We feel like we're ready for the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then when we play our music for somebody, they like, man, this mix is trash. You know what I'm
Oh yeah.
saying? So what would you say are some key components to look for in terms of like a quality mix that could be pushed not only to somebody's like friends and family, but also attract people that work in the industry?
So I feel like anybody. So dealing with mixing, right? Or
Yeah.
okay. So when it comes to mixing, in my opinion, learn the basics. So understand, EQ, equalization. Understand the hertz from 20 to 20,000 hertz. understand the human hearing. Something as basic as that can let you know, like, okay, my vocals are too high pitched. Maybe turn it down around 10K or 7K. Different things of that nature. Or I'm very muddy, or I hear like a lot of bass in my vocals. That could be from 80 to 300 hertz. Like little
Okay.
things in that nature helps with the clarity and the presence of your vocals. Now, compression, when it comes to the levels, like you might have a high pitch at one range and then you talking normal at one area. A compression helps you to like basically balance it out. So the highs and the lows meet in the middle. And then if you want effects like reverb and delay, of course, delay is like basically like if I clap my hand, you hear it as a feedback.
Right. Right.
Reverb, basically like an echo, like you're in a cave or something.
Right.
But um, a lot of people, what I've noticed when it comes to effects like reverb and delay, they'll actually put it on the track itself. What
Okay.
I would recommend for someone who understand the basic, put it on a separate what's called a bus or an auxiliary, and you can use effects that way to help you to at least bring some energy, some definition, some a little character in your vocals. And then the best way to tell if you got a good mix, they're not going to tell you the mix is bad. They're just going to say, "Oh, this song's hot." They're not even
Right.
thinking of
Right.
like the mix in the aspect. They thinking of the song in general. It's like, oh,
Okay.
it's pleasing to the ears.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Bet. All right, man. And I got my next guest lined up, and he's ready to come in. But I want to ask you, what do you have? What are you working on? What do you have coming up? And tell people how to get in contact with you, please.
Okay, well, right now I do know Rebel Ears is working on something exclusive with Bonfire ATL. They
Okay.
have it. They have it every Sunday. If you want to look up how to get there, you can actually go on Google Bonfire ATL, and you get the location information about it.
Yes, sir.
Other than that, with the website, we got a few free ebooks. We got one of my ebooks, 10 Quick Tips to Be a Successful Audio Engineer, rebelears.com for anything you need, posts, blogs, podcast.
Yes, sir.
Get in touch with me at on IG at rebelears.ray, REBELEARS.RAI. DM me, get in touch with me. If you have any questions, I'm over there.
All right, man. Dope. Make sure y'all reach out to this man, Ray Moore, rebelears.ray. This man got credits out the we can't say, but you know what I mean. But he's humble. He's easy to reach out to. You know what I'm saying. And he's willing to give information for anybody that's willing to listen. So make sure y'all reach out to this man. And I appreciate you coming on and giving your insight with us today, bro.
Oh yeah, thank you for having me, man.
Absolutely. And I look forward to chopping it up further with you, bro.
Oh yeah, of course, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right, peace.
All right.
Yeah. All right, y'all. That was Ray Moore. Um, and what I mean, yeah, man. I hope y'all were paying attention to what he was saying about being professional in the studio, knowing what you're doing, having your tracks ready, um, having a hard drive on deck. You know what I'm saying? For when you are in the studio, get that music off of the studio hard drive, please. You know what I'm saying? I can speak from experience. You don't want that happening to you. Um, but yeah, man, we're gonna keep it moving. Our next guest for the day is Derek Mays, and he runs a marketing agency called Mays Marketing Agency. So we briefly touched on marketing in our last conversation with Ray Moore, but we're gonna get a little bit more in depth with somebody who actually works in that field. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring him into the stream right now. Hello, hello. What's good, bro? Can you hear me? Uh oh, sounds like we got some technical issues. Yo, yo, yo. Hey, Derek, can you hear me? Alright, looks like we got some lag going on. That's what it looks like.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man.
How you
How's
doing,
everything on your end?
man? Can you hear
I
me?
can. Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Introduce yourself to the people, please. Uh oh. All right. So here's what I'm gonna do.
Yo, can you
I'm
hear
gonna
me?
yeah, I can hear you very clearly. I was just saying, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people. I don't know if your Wi-Fi connection is a little weak or what?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Is that better?
I think we might be all right. Can you hear me clearly? All right. I'm not sure what the issue is right now. Um, but here's
Can
what
you
I'll
hear
do.
me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yep. But I'm about to
Oh, you can hear me?
take.
Is everything
Yeah,
good
everything's good,
now?
bro. It's a little. It looks like it looks like you lagging though.
Is everything working? Can you hear me, man?
I'm gonna take you out. I'm gonna take
I'm
you out the
Derek
stream real quick, and then we're gonna put you
Mays.
right back in. All right. Let me see if there's a way to reboot his situation. We're gonna try to get Derek Mays back in here in just a moment.
Agency. I'm also the music director at MNTC Radio. I'm a blog writer for various blog sites.
All right, bet. So tell us how you got into the world of marketing, if you wouldn't mind. Yo, Derek. Yeah, so I think he's got some technical difficulties. I think maybe the area that he's in is not giving proper Wi-Fi. So we're gonna try to see if we can get Derek back in here in just a moment. Um, but yeah, I'm looking at the comments now. Crease Speaks Media, yes, absolutely. Artists, you tell artists all the time to pay attention to and engage with those showing them love. I would also suggest that as well. As an independent artist, you are basically predicated to the people that support you, right? Um, so if you're not connected with the people that are showing you attention, you're basically kicking yourself in the foot, man. Like, um, they're gonna be the ones that come out to your shows. They're gonna be the ones that pay for your music or stream it or whatever they're gonna do. You need the support, so you're gonna want to connect with those people. I'm gonna see if I could get Derek Mays back in here. He just showed back up in the queue, and let's see if we can get this interview back popping. Yo yo yo, Derek. It's got to be the Wi-Fi.
Hey, man, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can. Can you tell
Yo,
the
can you hear
people?
me?
I hear you. I hear you clear, bro. I just need you to.
Yeah, can you hear me, man?
Yes,
Can you
sir.
hear me, man? Is this better? Man, what is
You
going
good?
on, man?
You straight, man. I'm not sure
Is
if you can hear me or not, but I'm telling you, everything is good.
okay, all right.
Yeah, yeah. So, tell the people how you got involved with the world of marketing, bro.
Okay.
Did you hear my question?
Well, it kind of started about a year ago. I opened up my own marketing agency called Mays Marketing Agency, and at that specific time, it was yeah, I was answering it. Did you hear me?
Yeah, you're good, man. It's clearly some sort of lag going on. Yeah, please bear with us, y'all. You know what I mean? With these virtual events and stuff, this can get a little crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll just
I
keep
think his
talking.
signal's not strong. Yeah, go ahead.
So I started about a year ago, and then kind of first thing I started off, like I said, was with businesses, and I was really driven man of all kind of situations. I'm not really wanting to be in the spotlight.
All right. Nene Nicole, what's good? What's good? Appreciate you joining the live. We're trying to get the situation handled here with Derek Mays. He has a lot of valuable information that we're trying to get transmitted to y'all, but I think that there is a lag on his end as far as his Wi-Fi situation. So I'm gonna try to get him in here once more. I think it is based. It looks like he's out and about. I don't think that his signal is strong in the location where he is right now. Um, but we have another guest lined up. He's texting me now. 1 second, please. All right. Yeah, thank you, Nina Nicole. I appreciate that. um, we're gonna try to see if we can get Derek in here. We kind of, unfortunately, ran through the majority of his time trying to make sure that his Wi-Fi was in good standing. So I'm gonna give him a couple moments to get back in here. We're gonna give him one more shot because I do think that this is something that you guys are gonna need. Marketing is one of the main things in music, especially today. If you're not able to get yourself in front of people and learn how to engage people on a different level to where they're not just passively looking at you, but actually making decisions to support you, whether that be financially, giving extra time towards your dream, your business, ultimately, because as an artist, you are not just a creative, you're a business, and you got to approach it just as that. All right. So, like I said, I'm gonna try to get Mr. Mays back in here. I definitely apologize for everybody that's tuned in and wanted to get that information. Um, Not quite sure what the situation is, but we roll with the punches, man. Doing these virtual events, this is kind of a frequent issue. Not knowing, you know what I mean? I think we just had a Teddy Riley moment, and I really try to keep it together in lieu of that. Um, yes, indeed. And I also need to get our next guest in the building. So let me send Mr. Music a DM just to make sure that he's in the queue because he is our next guest, Mr. Music from MNTC Radio, which is a syndicated radio show on iHeartRadio. So I'm gonna send him a message so that we can try to get this information to y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm really really taken aback by this situation. But let me go ahead and get this link. All right, so Derek May said that it's not working on his end. So I'm going to reach out to our next guest to see if he's ready to come on. Pretty straightforward. admire what you're doing. Remember that when you are doing great things, some hiccups happen. Crease Speaks Media, man, you killing it today. I really appreciate that. Um, if y'all have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat so that we could kind of keep this productive. If you have any questions or comments, concerns, like let's go ahead and get like a Q&A or something going just until we could get our next guest in the queue. If there's anything that I was not clear about earlier when I was talking about music royalties and how you can monetize your music, um, please go ahead and send me a question. And if you happen to miss anything, you know what I'm saying, again, just ask me and I can revisit the subjects that I touched on earlier. Nene Nicole, I know you got something. Ask me something. All right, yeah. So Derek, he's not gonna be able to return. I think it's just a hiccup on his signal side. Oh man. So I guess it's a good as time as any to just go ahead and spit on Spotify, right? Y'all don't have to use them. Joe Budden actually just recently went on a rant talking about how they're treating the podcast industry, which they've invested so much money into, and they still ain't treating people right. So as of September 23rd, we will no longer be getting the Joe Budden podcast exclusively from Spotify. And if you have been keeping score with what's going on with them, if they're not treating the people that they're paying millions of dollars to, you can imagine how they think of us as artists when they only pay us zero point 0.4 cents a stream. What music distribution company do I use or highly recommend? Um, Currently, I am using DistroKid, but I've tried out numerous music distribution companies in the past. So I've gone through AWOL, which is a subsidiary of Cobalt, which is a big music publisher. And there's a lot of pluses to the AWOL distribution network. They have their own publishing division. They kind of give you a lot of transparency to see like where your music is, where it's going, and how the breakdowns of the music um, payouts are coming. But I just don't like the overall user experience very much that I've had with them. So I stopped using it. I've also used 1RPM, which is another, of course, music distribution company. They're pretty user friendly. I know that you can definitely reach out to um, the people that run that site and reach them directly. They hit you back pretty fast if you have any discrepancies or issues with your music, which is something that is very important when you're an independent artist. If you can't reach out to the people that run the company, or at least have a customer service agent get back to you in a timely fashion, that could lead to a lot of problems. But I do know that 1RPM is very responsive. But as of now, I advocate for DistroKid. It's just the easiest way to access, get your music. You pay $19.99 a year, um, and it doesn't get too much more straightforward than that. Nene Nicole says that she is trying out BeatStars. I think BeatStars is, I think BeatStars is great. I don't really see the difference in between a BeatStars slash or a DistroKid. To be honest, I feel like it's pretty much just BeatStars version of DistroKid, which is cool because they have a built-in platform for producers and creators, and it's basically an easy streamline. So I think that that's a natural progression for the company to make, being that they have so many producers on that platform. But if you're just a artist that's trying to put music out, I really don't see too much of the benefit that you're gonna get out of BeatStars. I mean, they say that you're gonna get a publishing partnership with Sony ATV. That's cool, but it's kind of hard to utilize that connection depending on what you're doing with your music. So if you have like samples in your songs, and this is just for the artists and producers that choose to sample, um, you're gonna have a hard time receiving any royalties from Sony ATV on anything that you put out. So it's kind of like tomato tomato pretty much. It's not too much different. It's not something I would worry about. You can't really go wrong. I know some people that use symphonic distribution. I haven't had experience using them, but it's kind of the same sort of situation. Let me know if you guys have any further questions that I can answer. Anything that I can help clear up in this downtime while trying to get our next guest in the building. Mm-mm-mm. Prince Wiser. Let's, dope. Anything else I could clear up for you guys? I am here. I do want to kind of go into something that I've been doing for a while. I was going to save it for later, but being that we do have a hiccup, I do want to move forward with more content. So I'm going to just be transparent with you guys. In 2018, I was in a pretty uncomfortable position. By then, I had already been releasing music for public consumption for maybe about 10 years. And everyone that kind of knew of me within the music community had high praise on my talent and performance skills, but couldn't really reach the next plateau in the industry. I had done features with artists that had more notoriety and garnered some critical acclaim in some big publications. And I had resources to perform on a regional scale throughout the southeastern United States. So it seemed like everything was kind of like on an incline. I was also, like I mentioned before, I was getting licensing placements in TV shows, and it finally gotten my first music placement in a film called 1155. And I was still working like odd jobs and stuff like that. Couldn't really uh, bring in a consistent amount of money from music. I was like doing a lot, but it felt like I was on a treadmill. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of that year, I signed up on a site called Fiverr.com. And on Fiverr.com, it's like a global marketplace where you can pretty much sell anything digitally. One second, I got a question in here. I would like to know what programs you use to create your video graphics and lyric videos. That's an easy question to answer. I use an app called Video Leap. I do all of my lyric videos and social media content on Video Leap. It's an iPhone app. I think they may have a version of it for Androids as well. But yeah, man, I signed up on Fiverr.com, and I was inspired by a local artist by the name of Cam James. And he was basically marketing himself on there and was announcing his departure from Fiverr. So I signed up because I'm like, if Cam James was on there making bread and he's leaving, then that's a perfect window of opportunity for me to step in for those people that are going to be looking for him, because I already knew who he was and I already knew his talent level. So I signed up on there. I bought a USB microphone, which is actually the exact microphone I have in front of me. It is a USB microphone AT2020 made by Audio Technica Plus. That's the USB version. And I started recording from home without having to have a additional interface, right? Oh, excuse me. The Fiverr system works on a 3-level scale. All new users begin at level 1, and as you deliver orders and gain positive reviews, you're able to appear higher in search results and eventually move up to level 2. So I started doing features. I started doing songwriting services, even ghostwriting services. You know what I'm saying? And just like really, yes, the Technica Plus. Video Leap like jumping. But yeah, Technicals Plus, mic USB. Yes, Audio Technica Plus USB. That's it. But yeah, man. So I started doing that, and it wasn't really doing too much for the beginning time of when I got on there. I was actually doing guest verses for like $50. Um, and you could basically set up tiers of payment. You could set up a basic, standard, or premium. If you've ever bought anything from Fiverr, you know how to do this. But it's not many people that are doing this for music. A lot of times, there's graphic designers. There's people with like you know, stock footage. Um, People are doing lyric videos, all types of stuff like that on Fiverr. But um, in my experience, I haven't seen too many artists that were utilizing this platform because it's like it has its own search engine, just like a YouTube or a Google, where as long as you produce results, you show up. And this is golden. I appreciate it. And yeah, man, over the course of the last year, I've been able to make over $10,000 off of this. You know what I'm saying? And that's not including any royalties that I've made from having music on TV and films. That's not including any music royalties that I've gotten from my distributor. That's not including publishing. That's not including um, physical sales. This is strictly off of Fiverr.com. In the last year, I've made over $10,000 doing guest verses, um, writing songs for other artists, upstart artists that just want to get something out there but don't know how to write. And yeah, man, I feel like this is a big step that a lot of artists could be making, but just had never been introduced to it. So that's something that I wanted to talk to y'all about today. And you know, I know that there's artists out there that don't want to like bring down whatever they think their value is. Might be like, oh, you was doing $50 verses. I'm not charging $50 no more, but that was just an entry point. Um, because if nobody's reaching out to you for feature verses, $50 is better than zero. You know what I'm saying? And you could do the same thing. Like the way that I basically built it up was from studying music producers. And one thing that producers are doing well today is that they have multiple tiers of how to buy beats. Like if you go on BeatStars, I'm glad that Nene Nicole mentioned BeatStars earlier, right? You can go to atonejones.com and you could buy a basic lease of a beat for like $20, right? I think it may be 40 today, but same difference. But then if you want more access to that beat, right? If you want to be able to instead of selling 2,500 copies, you want to sell 8,000 copies. And of course, this is all relative. If you're not an artist that's selling music, it doesn't really matter, right? But if you want more rights to the music, then you would pay $80 for a standard license. But then if you want exclusive rights, which means that once you pay for it, nobody else can use it. It gets taken down, right? And that may be like a $300 license. And then, of course, if you want to get completely original beats from that producer, you would pay them whatever their fee is for bespoke production. But for me, I was looking at it like, okay, I see a lot of producers out here that are making, $100,000, six figures off of beats just from putting their beats on YouTube and having a portal set up on BeatStars or a website with a BeatStars music player, and they caking up. You know what I'm saying? But then it was like, all right, how can an artist get in on this? How can an artist be of service to the average person that wants to be in music, but gets caught up in the web of, man, how do I promote myself on social media? Man, how do I retain people's attention after I come off stage at a show? You know what I'm saying? I might have performed for 100 people. 20 of them might actively pursue me after I get off stage. But then, of course, dealing with percentages, out of that 20 people, how many of them are actually going to follow you on social media? Out of the ones that follow you on social media, how many of them are actually going to buy your content? Kind of dwindles down, right? So um, I took that same formula from the producers on BeatStars and applied it to my own self on Fiverr. So it's like you could get a verse from Jay Nolan for $50. If you wanted a full song, you know what I'm saying, you could pay $150. If you want me to like write for you and not receive any like credit, if you want me to ghost write for you, I'll charge you like $200. You know what I'm saying? It's cool because you also got to think about a volume game. You know what I'm saying? Over the course of a year, if you could get 100 people to do that, that's money in your pocket. 100 is like on a low scale. But if you could get 100 people to do that at $50 a piece or $150 a piece, you know what I'm saying? Now you can kind of ease the load on yourself and kind of start thinking of yourself as a business. A lot of times we get so caught up in being creatives that we don't understand the value, the true value of what it is that we do. Now, I'm not going to say that everybody's going to be able to do it because people have to buy into your talent. Of course, they have to be able to hear you and say, oh man, I want to work with this person. But, you know what I mean? It's pretty easy, you know what I mean? And it's I haven't even gone on social media and told people that this is something that I do. I don't even advertise it. You know what I'm saying? I just put up clips of stuff that people that I work with or clips of recordings and to get people to come shop with you on the regular. That is brilliant, honestly. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I have repeat customers. I have regulars, just like somebody at a brick and mortar shop. You know what I mean? You could be working at a Starbucks, but there's somebody that comes in every day. You know what I mean? You know that they're gonna come in and buy their favorite coffee every morning. You know what I'm saying? You can kind of have that same type of relationship with people, with your music or with your talent, I should say, because I have somebody right now who probably gets a track from me, if not every week, every 2 weeks. There's a few of them. I've worked on EPs for artists where they were like, man, I just want you to be the exclusive writer on my project. You know what I'm saying? So these are all things that you guys may want to consider. I'm not saying that this is the end all be all or the only way to make money. I'm just saying that it is a strong way to build income for yourself outside of the traditional music industry, which is what I'm all about. I'm all about working outside of the confines of the traditional music industry because they're gonna do whatever it takes to either hold you back or take your money off top and leave you with the lowest possible percentage. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I just felt like letting y'all in on that because I know that there's some people that probably tuned in based off of the fact that I said I made X amount of money. But we have our next guest in the queue. We have Ethan, Mr. Music Horace, in the queue, and I'm going to go ahead and add him to the stream. If you can hear me, bro, I'm about to add you. So let's see.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How you doing?
Good, good, good. How's everybody doing?
Everybody's doing great, man. Just out here giving out a little information and everything.
All
But
right.
but please go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
My name is Ethan, aka Mr. Music Horace. I have a
Yes,
show
sir.
on MNTC Radio. It's called the Power Hour. What we do is we play independent music, pop,
Uh-oh, it looked like it kind of cut out on you.
Yeah, somebody was calling me. My bad.
Got you. Okay.
So I'm gonna start it over real quick. My name is Ethan Horace. I'm the host of the Power Hour on MNTC Radio. It's available on iHeartRadio. We play nothing but independent music, hip hop, R&B, Afro beats. I said pop, right? Pop.
Yes, sir.
Um, our biggest thing is we want to create a platform that sounds like FM radio and our podcast to show the world that all the indie artists around the world is the future of music. We've heard like you might hear, oh, Drake has 60 million streams for this new song. So we've heard Drake enough. We've heard Beyonce
Right.
enough. So let's
For
talk
sure.
about these new artists y'all haven't heard before that's just as hot as them, even hotter. So that's my whole thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So tell us how the Power Hour came into existence and talk about how you got into the radio business as well.
I started with the radio business. I went to the high school for recording arts at St. Paul. It's a St. Paul recording school. at age 15, they'll teach you how to record, engineer, blah blah blah. But I was in a rap group. It was like 30 of us, right? And
Yep.
so when I was in this rap group, I was like, damn, it's 30 of us. Who the fuck is gonna market this shit? We all talking about rapping and shit. And so that was my first like really hand with marketing. Then I took about 7 years just to kind of like study music contracts,
Yes,
like
sir.
how certain people got signed, but it was all online, so it wasn't really like official education through a school. And then I was like, you know what, fuck it, let me just go to IPR. It's called the Institute of Production and Recording. I went there for engineering and I freaked out because I went there for a whole semester. There was midterms, and then they gave me the midterm test for engineering, like Pro Tools and shit, right? I'm not an engineer. And
Right.
so I'm like, damn, I'm gonna have to drop out of college because I ain't pay attention. I've been smoking
Right.
weed every day, you know what I mean? But then they're like, well, we have a business program. And the business program taught me about marketing and this and that. And then I ended up going to a community station called KFAI, where I'm at now, and they brought the power hour over there. And then fast forward from 2014 to when I was at KFAI to now, I was playing basketball. I lost like 100 pounds when I was playing basketball with a semi-pro team and hosting for them. But when coronavirus hit in March, it was over with. Like, or shout out to the team right there. That's it right there. Flight
Oh,
Squad.
no, no doubt.
Uh,
Dope.
Corona hit, man. I was like fucked up, like depressed, low key. Like, damn, what am I gonna do? And then I realized that iHeartRadio had syndicated the power hour from KFI MNTC Radio. And so at that point, I was like, well, I can go a commercial route or I can go indie route that sounds commercial. And I
Yes,
thought
sir.
the indie route was more challenging for me. So that's what I took. It's easy for me to grab a whole bunch of songs that everybody already got from Drake, Beyonce, Jay-Z, and put them on a CD. But, oh, it's hot versus let me really listen to 300 songs a day, see who's the hottest, and then put it on the radio. So
Right.
that's how I came
Exactly.
out. No.
Yeah, man. So I know I come across a lot of people, man, that have like this really apathetic um, attitude towards music, and they, especially in a situation like radio. There's people out there that claim radio is dead. You know what I'm saying? What would you say to that statement?
Well, here's the thing. It depends what type of radio. And radio is dead to a degree, but people have to understand what kind of radio they're talking about. Satellite radio isn't dead. I'm gonna tell you that right now. XM
Right.
radio, Shade 45, that's not gonna die out till we start flying in cars like the Jetsons. It's gonna be a long
Right.
time. Um, FM radio is not dead yet. If it was dead, people wouldn't be marketing on it still. It's just not as popular as it used to be.
Right.
What people should understand is podcasting is where it's at. With this podcast, we've got to syndicate on multiple FM stations and online stations because of how good the podcast is.
Right.
I always try to tell artists and people that a podcast is almost like it's like opening a business. Everybody should do it, but nobody wants to put the work in. So I
Right.
think podcasting and radio is still alive. It just depends. Like, is FM still alive as satellite? No. Is podcasts hotter right now than satellite and FM? Yes.
Right.
So I really believe in people taking control of their own platforms. For artists, is like, what I notice is a lot of artists are not getting played in this city from the local FM stations or the commercial FM stations. I
Right.
tell artists, start your own damn podcast, start your own platform. So that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, that's a very valid point, man, and I can attest to that because that's actually one of the things that I did early on was starting my own podcast with a group of friends. You know what I'm saying? We always talked about music anyway, and we
Mm.
were always on top of like who was up next, who, you know what I mean? Like we were listening to Chance the Rapper and all these different type of artists before the world knew them. So it was like, shoot, let's go ahead and just make a podcast. And this was
Right,
during the
right,
time where
real.
people didn't really understand even what a podcast was. You know what I mean? It was that early in the game, and now everybody has a podcast. You know what I'm saying? Some of the biggest artists in the world, some of the
I was
biggest.
I was just gonna say, man. I just figured out that what's your boy? You down in Atlanta? Ti got a podcast
Ti
now.
got a podcast,
I
exactly.
was like, yo, stop fucking kidding me, man.
Nah, it's dead serious. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a great point that podcasts are taking over radio. You know what I'm saying? To the point now where, I mean, even if we want to be specific, I mean, the Breakfast Club, their whole platform, their format was basically podcast, and it became the biggest show in the world. You know what
Right,
I'm
and
saying?
when they distribute it now, it's pretty much a podcast format where it's
Right.
pre-recorded and then they rebroadcast, which is pretty much a podcast. So,
Exactly.
yep.
Exactly. So, yeah, man. Now that you guys are syndicated with iHeartRadio, like what has that done for the show?
We're kind of opened up in different ways. It's a platform called GeoSovereign that's in India,
Okay.
and I wasn't hip to it at all. So it's pretty much like the iHeartRadio of India, and our show was in on there as one of the top podcasts. So actually, the only American show on there. So open it up for that. It opened it up with Just people know the iHeart name. If I say KFAI to you in Atlanta, you're like, what the hell is KFAI?
Yeah, absolutely.
If I say K-Rack Radio, like, what the hell is that? If I say iHeart Radio, you're like, okay. To people in India, when I say GeoSovereign, they're like, okay. So it's just opened up doors, just the credibility. You know what I'm saying? So
Right, right. And
it's kind of and it's forced me to be really on top of the content. I was really loose with my content before. Right now, I'm really tight to where I want the brand, even though it's indie, I want it to still represent the iHeart brand correctly. If that makes
yes,
sense.
sir.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And and what does that mean in terms of like the artist? Like what do you feel is the overall benefit of the show to the artists that you guys are playing?
It kind of goes back to what we were talking about before with the podcast thing. A lot of artists are expressing to me there's a lot of politics with getting the music on the air. Um, whether they have to pay, they have to pay too much. DJs are responding. It's a popularity contest. Maybe they're female, maybe they're homosexual. It's all these different things to tell me. And with this show, there's no politics. If it sounds great, that should be on FM radio in your city. I'm playing it. That's just kind of that's just
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of how it is.
for
So
sure.
I think the benefit is we're gaining fans, but I don't call them Power Hour fans. I call them Power Hour family. So what's happened when I tweet this stuff out, I've kind of created a thing where these artists, every time I add a new artist, they all follow each other. I feel like we're in the ego and cocky era where due to social media, it's easy to give the middle finger to somebody or troll them or talk trash or
Yeah.
even if it's something that's great that you like, act like you don't like it. That's the era we're in, right? But with this, especially with artists, but with this show, it's a testament to the music we're playing that where every show artists are like, man, every artist on here is dope. I'm not even hearing artists talk about their songs anymore. They're like, yo, the artist throughout the whole show was dope. So it's letting me know that the format is there and they're actually feeling like, hey, we're in the superstar class of artists by being on this show. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a big benefit of it.
Right. And I also understand that when music gets played on affiliates of iHeartRadio, like that actually pays out royalties for the artist, correct?
Yeah, it does. So what I found out, what I thought because it was a podcast, I didn't think people would, man, you a good interviewer, man. I'm gonna have to bring you to the team, man. If y'all listening, man, we have to get this guy a radio job. You ask some good questions that people really don't ask. So the thing about it is with the podcast, I didn't think that I was gonna be able to get people royalties because iHeart does not work with BMI or ASCAP, even with the terrestrial radio
Mm-hmm.
and with their podcast. However, if you're registered with Sound Exchange, you can get all your mechanical royalties off of that.
Yes,
So
sir.
not only are we playing their music on this podcast, but they also are able to get paid if they're registered with Sound Exchange as well. So that's cool as well.
Yes, indeed. And for those of y'all that have been tuned in from the beginning, I told y'all about Sound Exchange, but it came right back. I ain't just giving y'all
Mm-hmm.
nonsense. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like if
Mm-hmm.
you really want to get on top of that, because when you reach out to somebody like Ethan that has a platform to play y'all on the Power Hour on MNTC Radio and it's getting syndicated through iHeart, you know what I'm saying? There's money in that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it adds up. So
That
definitely,
exactly. And
uh, and,
I think people forget, man. Like
yeah,
this like they have music rights. That's why they
it,
call performance rights organizations. So I'm glad you
exactly.
brought up Sound Exchange before I even got on here because that lets me know you understand how artists should be using different ways to monetize what they got going on.
Yes, sir.
So I respect that for sure.
Absolutely. That's the whole reason we're doing this today, man. Is just to
Mm.
kind of educate artists on, how to monetize, man. That's what this is all about, the monetization of the music, like, and having an understanding of where your music is going and how to actually, run the checks and balances of, okay, if my music is over here, I should be getting something from that. Now, how do I get to it?
Right,
That's the whole purpose.
right.
Um, so tell me some of your goals that you have long term for this show, man.
Um, this might sound weird to people, but one of my goals is I'm from the East Coast and I live in Minnesota right now. NY is messing with the show really tough, but Minnesota, the listeners are messing with it, but the artists they still stuck on the local scene that's not really doing nothing for them here. And I'm trying
Right.
to tell them like, look, y'all see that the local artists that are here messing with it, they getting different opportunities with me. But I'm doing something right now where I want to do free marketing to a lot of the nonprofits in Minnesota,
Okay.
Georgia, and New York because right now the country's kind of messed up with civil unrest and COVID. So if there's nonprofits that are out there doing stuff for like black communities, my my little thing that I have in my head is I want us to be a platform where they get free marketing for at least 6 months to help build the community. I'm starting to realize like politics make me say I ain't trying to get political real quick, but you asked me what my goal is, right?
Yes, sir.
So right now I'm working with I don't live far from where the George Floyd riots came from. That's right in my backyard, pretty much.
Right.
There's a Lake Street. That's the street that got messed up. It's called Lake Street. They have a they have a program for they're trying to put something special in the street corner where this stuff happened for the community. And so they hit me up. Now, usually most radio situations, if you don't have money for marketing, they're like, no, we're not gonna help you get out this message about the community. But I had to think about. I'm like, think about it, Ethan. It would cost $1,000 for that marketing with me, right? But they're a nonprofit. They're trying to do something to bring something good to the neighborhood in the hood. Like they sound like crack outside, right? Imagine me saying no for only $1,000 is stopping me from putting a message out in the community. That's crazy, right?
Right.
$1,000? What is $1,000?
Right.
So right now, what I'm doing is I'm trying to take that away where I eliminate money for nonprofits. They help promote me for free, but y'all messages, I put that out for free.
Right.
Because we build community. Then when Coca-Cola comes along or Beats by Dre, these indie artists, we charge them. We don't charge the people on the come up. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
that's
sir.
how you build community, because then they promote me, I promote them. There's no money exchange. We build each other up. So that's my main. That's what this thing's supposed to be about overall, my man.
Absolutely.
Yo.
And I want to get one more question.
No problem.
Just before we close, I had it written down. Let me make sure I get to it. So we already talked about the royalties and talked about what you're gonna accomplish. So, how can people get in contact to actually get their music on the show?
The best way to get in contact with me by email is mntcradio@gmail.com. I'll even plug out with this email. I haven't told nobody publicly, which is ethan@mntcradio.com.
Okay.
We have the website coming soon. If y'all want to hit me on social media, Twitter's that place to do it, or Facebook, at Real Mr. Music on either one of them.
Okay. And is there a certain type of music that you're looking for specifically, just so anybody that's tuned in can?
If people have a commercial feel, like commercial music, I'll play it. I'll let certain things slip, like some of the stuff you send me that's not as commercial. I play it because it's good content. So I play nothing but commercial content for the most part, but I do mix it up with lyrical content and stuff that has meaning as well. So just send me what you got, man. You never know what kind of mood I might be in, or what kind of mood I'm going with the show. iHeart let me do whatever I want with the show because it's gaining listeners, it's helping their brand. That article you wrote, they're like, yo, what? they're like, what? So it's making them look good, even though it's my ideas and shit. So I'm with it.
Yeah.
Send me joints, y'all. All flood me. I listen to music all day long.
Yes, sir. And can you repeat the email one more time? We got people in here asking about it.
No problem. That email is MN. That's M as in Mary, N as in Nancy, TC as in Twin Cities, radio@gmail.com. And then the other one is Ethan@mntcradio.com.
Right.
Name Nicole is asking me if you watching Name Nicole, that's at Real Mr. Music, but instead of MISTER, it's MR. So REALMRMUSIC.
All right, cool. And for everybody,
can I say one more thing, bro? Can I say one more thing?
Go ahead. Yeah.
For y'all female artists out there, man. So here's something I've been recognizing since I've been removing all politics from my shows. Female artists, like, yo, no other person is really like playing our track so easy. You know what I'm saying? I want y'all to know that this is a platform for y'all as well. Don't think because I'm a male, or whatever, that we play mad females on there, and we being recognized for that. So if y'all got good songs, don't not just saying because you a female is gonna get on, but if it's good, I'm gonna play it for you. Just know that.
Right. All right. So y'all heard it here first. You know, it's a diverse show. They not just playing men. Like, if you got good music and they like it, they gonna play it. And I just put all the handles and emails in the chat for everybody, so that you should be getting some emails from artists that are interested in getting their music played. But I want to thank you, man, for taking the time out to come and, you know, talk about this with us, give me your time, you know what I mean, because I know you're a busy man and you got a lot going on. But yeah, man, thank you so much for coming on today.
Hey, it's all good. I want to say something real quick before I get out of
sir.
here. I want to shout you out, man. I'm really weird about connecting with people that try to do media and broadcasting and to try to present themselves to be intelligent when they're not.
Yeah.
I'm a straight shooter. You know what I'm saying? you've really impressed me, man, with how you articulate everything you do, from your music, from your blog, from your website, from your social media to this. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? You have me on this show. It's branding yourself. You have everything correct. Where I know, okay, Facebook, Fresh and Local. Okay, YouTube, Fresh and Local TV are real. I mean, there's no questions there.
Yeah.
So I like what you got going on, man. I just want to let people know that if they support you, or if they support me, then that means they support you as well. 'Cause I support you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
All right, my man. I'm out of here.
All right, man. Peace. I
I love.
appreciate that
Yo,
too, man.
yo,
Thank you.
I love.
All right. So that was Ethan, Mr. Music Horace. Very solid guy. As y'all seen, man, we setting it up for y'all. We setting it up for y'all, man. So now, I know that people have a lot of questions about the world of music licensing. I'm not the most qualified person to talk about it, although I do have, you know, placements and stuff like that. But we have somebody that does this for a living, and he does quite a bit more. And we're going to talk about everything that his company does. It goes by the name of Ty Frankel, and he's the CEO of Shutdown Media. Ty, if you're ready, I am going to go ahead and add you to the broadcast right now. So don't be alarmed. Hopefully, you're not doing anything preoccupied. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thanks a lot for having me on. Appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. I appreciate you, man. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the people one time.
Yeah. Hi, Ty Frankel. I own a company called Shutdown Media. Do a lot of music for TV and film. Do graphics and working on some pretty cool things right now. Some marketing things, some marketing stuff, a new label. I know me and Jay. You know, we've worked on 5 or 10 tracks together. I think over the years, we must have started 4 or 5 years ago.
Yes.
And yeah, I live in Louisiana. I actually moved here from LA in March because of Corona. And yeah, I'm 22. Love playing basketball, music, all that. Yeah.
Dope. You're 22, man. I had no idea.
Yeah, I'm actually turning 23 in a couple weeks though. So
That's what's up, man. You young and getting it, man. That's dope. So yeah, man. Tell me about how did you start Shutdown Media?
yeah, man, I was a hip hop producer. I started when I was 14, so back in 2012. And man, I was trying to sell beats to rappers. You know, my beats weren't that good at the start, obviously. No one's are. But, you know, after 2 or 3 years, I was a grinder. I grind like super hard. So I reached out to so many rappers and it was just like kind of disrespectful on a few different levels to where, you know, some of them stole my beats. This was in the era of Dat Piff. So even if they stole it, you're not getting paid. Nowadays, if they put it on Spotify, you're good. You know, you get that publishing, all the back end stuff. But back then that wasn't the case. So I wasn't really making any money. I tried to figure out a way how I could make money with music. That's what I was good at, you know, after a couple of years. So then I started making music for TV myself, TV and film myself.
Yeah.
Did that for a couple of years. And then I started Shutdown Music. We've been doing that since late 2016. Have a really big team now. I have like, it's me and then 6 other employees in house. We have like 50 or 60 musicians we work with. So yeah, we have a label with First Call Music, which is dope. They're owned by UMPG, Universal Music Publishing Group. Have another label out with No Sheet Music. They're a cool company in the UK. These are like music for TV and film labels.
Yes, sir.
Where we do like 12, 15, 20 albums a year. So yeah, that's pretty much how I got here. So
All right, bet. And like I said, I'm quite sure that there's a lot of artists in here that are interested in what you do. So tell the people, like, how can an artist or a producer that's, you know, making songs in their bedroom or, you know, maybe hitting the studio or whatever, how can they get their music on some of these platforms, on the TV and film, video game side of things? How does that even happen?
forward and easy. I mean, the first thing you want to do is have amazing music, and that's obviously the first thing. So we're not even going to talk about that because that's already a given. That's a must.
Right.
So if you don't have that, get that in order and then figure everything else out. But after you have the really great music, you know, there are all these music libraries, and that's the world that I'm in. You know, EMI, BMG, Universal, those are the major ones. There's 5 Alarm, Megatracks, all these other music libraries out there. They might pay $200 a track, $500, $1,000 a track, right? Depends on the album, their type of music, how good it is, all that stuff, which library it's with. And then you get all the money on the writer share on the back end as well.
Right.
But basically what you want to do, you want to get a list of libraries you think your music would be a good fit in. You want to get all their emails, who to pitch to, and then every month send them you need to know how to approach people. Don't write this like 10 paragraph email. The first thing you want to do is you want to compliment them and show that you did research on them and you're not just blindly emailing them. You want to address them by name, all these different things. Put them in an Excel sheet, email them once a month with brand new incredible music. They are gonna respond. I guarantee you they're gonna respond. It might take it might be the first email, it might be the 15th email. But if you just keep hitting them with great music and you're courteous and nice and you know how to approach someone, and you value their time, then you're going to get great results. Obviously, if you do it at scale, get like 50, 100, 200 libraries and just boom, 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 boom every month.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And what are some of the things that you look for in the artists or producers that you actually work with at the company and try to get, placed? Like, what are some of the things that because I know you said have great music, but like specifically, what are some of the things that stand out as far as what can be worked on that level?
Jamar, so for producers, it's absolutely mixing and arrangement. I mean, it's not very specific, but like production quality, like your transitions need to be on point. Especially if it's just an instrumental for licensing, like it can't be just super repetitive. Like it has to have like dope transitions and like has to be a roller coaster. The chorus, it just goes up and then it starts sparsely at the verse. Just dope production, like crisp, super crisp sounds, great mix, spacious mix. It's super authentic and modern. That's what we do. I mean, there's a lot of people who don't do modern stuff and it works, but for us, we do like super modern and authentic stuff. For songwriters, it's definitely, I mean, for artists, like vocalists, it's definitely songwriting. So we've approached a lot of different rappers and our A&R, we had to actually tell them to stop reaching out to people who just have freestyles because that doesn't tell you, like we reached out to probably, 20, 30, 50 artists we found who just had freestyles, but none of them ended up working out because their songwriting wasn't on point. So knowing how to write a great song that's universal, for licensing is incredibly important. And I would say that's number one for sure.
Okay. And I also understand that, there's certain like moods and stuff that kind of like go over well, you know what I mean? Like some that fit certain vibes that that the production might actually be looking for. Like what are some of the popular things that kind of go over well?
Yeah, I would say probably 80% of the tracks we do are really high energy. 20% are a little more chill, maybe R&B, chill like EDM, but energy that's definitely minority. So I would say like 80% of the tracks just overall in licensing have energy for sure.
Okay, dope. Business wise, how lucrative of an industry would you say that the sync licensing business is?
It depends who you are, man. So if you're an artist, if you're an indie artist, a big major artist, if you're someone that's trying to start a company or a team or a library or whatever, it really depends. I mean, it's what $2-3 billion industry in the U.S. every single year. So probably double that if it counts the whole world, which is crazy because the U.S. is like 5% of the total world population. But you just don't make money like from Africa and South America. It really doesn't exist in a lot of places. So
okay.
Has such a big market share, but it can be very lucrative depending. If you're an indie artist that's only making 10 songs a year, you're not going to make a full-time income from it. But if you want to start a company or if you want to start a library, if you're a composer or an artist doing 100, 200 songs a year, then it could definitely be a full-time income, within 3, 4, 5 years if you really work and, you got both sides covered in terms of the music and the relationship side.
Got you. Are there any red flags that you try to avoid in terms of the artists or content that you bring in?
Artists, communication is number one. We just have so many artists that we were able to bring in that if someone's communication isn't on point, then we have to let them go. Like if they can't hit deadlines, and if we email them 2, 3, 4 times and no response, that's tough for us. It's very tough to keep working with them.
Yeah.
In terms of content, definitely steer clear of like religious things. Definitely steer clear of like violence, clear violence. Like I killed this person, but you could kind of, if you're rapping especially, you could kind of use like metaphors and things like
Right,
that.
right.
Try to cover it up a little bit, make it more friendly. Drug use, cuss words, which is not a deal breaker. But you just the thing is just making the song as placeable as possible. So you want to make a song that can be placed in like Fast and Furious and in like a kid's show potentially. So just making sure you have all those bases covered. And it's a super dope song is going to make sure that, your song is able to be versatile and it's not just like one or two different types of placements it can get.
Got you. And what do some of those I guess agreements or deals look like when you're dealing with artists? Like what are some of the I guess what are they gaining out of it? You know what I mean?
How we work is we work with upfront for sure, and then with a piece of the writer share. Producer, vocalist, it really depends. We executive produce everything in house. We produce 4 libraries, so we sell them the music. They take on the publisher share and all that. So we do take a piece of the writer share ourselves, just when we make music for other libraries. But if you work directly with the library, then what they would do is they would sign you, not sign you, sorry, sign specific songs,
Yeah.
and then they would either pay you up front or not. Most libraries don't pay up front. I would say 95% of libraries don't pay up front. But, we don't work with any of them. That's just not our business model. But if they don't pay up front, it's usually a 50-50 split on the license, on the sync. So the musicians would get 50% of the sync. They keep 50% of the sync. And then it would be a 50-50 split on the royalties. They keep the publishing share. You keep the writer share. They wouldn't pay you up front, but then there are libraries that pay up front. It might be in advance on the sync fee. So let's say they pay you $500. They get a sync fee in for $5,000 for that song. They would take the first $1,000. So then you're even. You both made $500, and then the other $4,000 they would split 50-50, and anything other other syncs that would come in, you guys would split 50-50. And then there are other libraries like Universal, BMG, who just totally buy the sync out. So they pay you maybe a little bit more up front, but they buy the sync out. So you just be receiving a writer's share on the back end. And all the deals we do are exclusive. If they pay you, it's going to be exclusive up front. There are a lot of non-exclusive libraries. It's kind of dying out now. It's kind of like a dying breed. But it's exclusive. You would sell them the track. Basically, they'd own it in perpetuity. And they represent it. They're not going to contact you like, hey, we just got, can you okay this placement? Like, no, it's their track. They can put it in a video game, in a porn video, whatever they want to do to make money with it. Yeah. It's totally up to them. So.
Gotcha. Okay, you actually you already striked out another one of my questions I was going to ask about the whole exclusive non-exclusive thing, but you just answered that for me. So you talked about the 50-50 split, and I think that we covered most of that, but I do want to know, what is it that you all are currently working on? What are some of the things that you guys have going on for the rest of 2020 going into next year?
It kind of got a little tough, but we're still working on great music as always. I'm actually working on this cool thing called Uncivilized Music, which I'm super excited about. It's the first time we're going to be selling the music directly as a company, and distributing it ourselves. So that's going to be the best royalty-free modern music that's ever been made, basically. Okay. So just the quality is going to be the best. It's going to be crazy, like major label level quality. So it's a big investment for us into the music. We're gonna get a list. We're actually in the middle of getting a list of 20,000 content creators and small businesses and videographers that might want to use it, and then we're gonna assign them to like blanket deals like Soundstripe or Artlist or Red Bull Sound Supply, so they can use all of our music like with a one-time yearly fee. That's dope. We're gonna represent it in the U.S. like for sync, like video games and more traditional TV shows, and also like sign sub-publishing deals overseas with other companies. So that's what I'm very excited about now. We're finally going to be, distributing our own music.
Dope. Congratulations on that, by the way. For the creators that are tuned in, how can they get in contact with you guys and actually get some music, you know, possibly in you guys' catalog?
Email us. We listen to absolutely everything. So you can shoot our A&R email. His name's Ray. So Ray at shutdownmedia.net.
All right, and I'm typing that into the comments now.
Cool, cool.
All right, y'all. So that's Ray at shutdownmedia.net. All right, I just put it into the comments for y'all. So anybody that wanted to reach out, you can hit his A&R up and go ahead and pitch your music. And one other thing, samples are a no go, right?
So it's like if you like, we put that in our contracts, and like we tell the producers up front and everything we work with, and if we discover you do that, like we can't work because like you might be doing some other sneaky shit. So no samples, and also no splice and no loops, just to be safe. Like there's some issues with splice and things like that,
Okay.
especially maybe not the one shots, like the one shot drum sounds and things like that. But if you like literally just take a whole melody and you just drag and drop it, and you don't
And
even
don't change it.
right, you don't even chop it up, that's a big issue. So we just say steer clear of any splice loops. Even if you chop it, just make original stuff. You know, it's pretty simple. I mean, I think as a producer, you should be able to make original stuff. You don't need to use melody loops. Like that's just a crutch, I feel like.
Yeah, that's definitely a big debate in the production world. You know what I'm
No
saying?
shots.
Yeah, but I understand, especially for what you do, and of course, just building a business around the music. That's something that's very important that people need to know about, because a lot of times there are limitations to what you can do with that content. So it's definitely something that people got to be on the lookout for. I appreciate you taking time out to do this interview with us, man. And once again, tell the people how to get in contact with you, Shutdown Media, where the website and everything. And I'll let you go about the rest of your day, bro.
Really appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on. You can contact us at our Instagram, shutdown_PM. That's the production music side of things. Shutdown_art. That's our graphic design Instagram page. No official website. We do have a SoundCloud for the production music side. And you can shoot me an email. So my email is ty@shutdownmedia.net. That's ty@shutdownmedia.net. That's the best way to get in contact with me. I'm addicted to my email, so unfortunately. So I'll definitely be seeing your email if it comes through.
All right, dope. And everything that you
Yeah.
just said, I went ahead and put it into the comments for the viewers to check it out, man. Once again, I thank you for coming on, man. Have a great day, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Peace, peace. All right, y'all. That was Ty Frankel from Shutdown Media, Shutdown Production Music. Um, like I said earlier in the show, getting music, TV, film, sync licensing. Uh, has also been another way that I've been able to sustain as an artist. Those royalties come out 4 times a year. Um, in some instances, you do get paid up front, and it also helps, you know, marketing yourself as an artist. You know what I mean? People start to perk up a little bit when they know that you have placements in some of these bigger productions, and if you can actually find the cue that was used, you know what I'm saying? You could take the footage of them using your music on the production and utilize it on your social media, on your YouTube page, and everything, just to show proof that yes, my music is reaching people. So yeah, man, shout out to Ty. That is somebody who I work with. Um, yeah, man. And I really appreciate you guys tuning in to the Songwriter Social Club. I apologize for any hiccups that we had around the 1 hour mark, trying to get Mr. Derek Mays into the chat, but we were able to move forward and keep it moving. We are now at the part of the show where we have to conclude. So I really appreciate everyone that's tuned in today, anybody that shared the link, anybody that asked questions, and if you're actually going to be reaching out to our guests, I wish you the best of luck in collaborating, and I hope to see everybody, you know, elevate, and I hope to see messages coming in the near future, going into next year. People that may have adopted some of the things that we talked about today, and were able to and are able to increase your music income. That which is the whole point of what we're doing today. The reason why we do the Songwriter Social Club is to show you guys practical ways to monetize your music. This is strictly for independent DIY artists that need a little bit of extra push, extra information, extra access. If you've never sat down and read everything you need to know about the music business, or you may not have a manager or a booking agent or somebody somewhere in your ear giving you a wealth of information, we're trying to democratize the information and give it to you guys directly. And anything that you heard on here that you felt might not be accurate, I encourage you to fact check anything that I've said and call me on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm open. And if anyone on here wants to reach out to me directly, this is the part where I do my own selfish plug. You can reach out to me at Real J Nolan on all social media. I'm gonna put that in the comments now, at Real J Nolan. You see it in the corner also. But you can also reach me at my phone number, which is 770-284 1997. You can send me a text anytime and I will get back to you if you have any questions, if you need any advice, or just want to collaborate and you want to pitch something to me. That's the best way to get at me as well. 770-284 1997. Y'all have a much blessed evening. I hope everybody's going to be well, and please stay tuned for more updates about the next Songwriter Social Club and everything going on with Fresh and Local. Much love and respect, y'all. Peace.